Secret friends, unite!
Hey, welcome back to the Secret Friends Unite podcast. Oops, all Thunderdome. This is our new topic-based show where we've cut it down to the basics. We've taken one thing, something topical that we want to talk about. In this case, this is our first movie podcast, and I am joined by two awesome contributors to kick up and down a new movie that has descended upon us. You're listening to this the week after it's come out, so hopefully you've already gone out and seen it. If you have not and you want to, we're going to break this up into kind of a non-spoilery portion. We're going to give it a rating, for lack of a better term, and then we're going to jump into a little bit more of a spoiler portion. But without further ado, I'm going to introduce my guests. I'm going to give a little plug for our Patreon because that's what pays the bills. And then we'll jump in. Joining me to my left, to my extreme left on my screen, is a returning contributor, Mr. Eric Hultgren. Eric, good evening to you, friend.
How are you, my friend? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing good. It's good to see you. And another awesome returning contributor, also star of our webpage, our contributor section. This is my friend Joe Colton. Joe, how are you tonight?
Good. How are you?
Awesome. You guys ready to jump into topic after I do this on this very short plug?
Yes.
All right. As always, I'd like to talk about our secret friend super squad over on patreon.com/secret friends unite. It's the place to get shows like this a couple of days early than everybody else in the world gets it. Lots of exclusive programming there as well that you're not going to find on our free feed, an exclusive channel on our Discord, etc. It's free to try it out for 7 days. Your first month, 50% off, and then you can stay on board for as little as $2 a month. So it's a very economical way to get a lot of great Secret Friends Unite entertainment. Patreon.com/Secret Friends Unite. Pop on over there. I'll stop plugging and we'll get into talking about the good stuff. So this weekend that we're recording this in, the third film in the TRON series descended upon us, TRON Ares. So the original film, 1982, very big to Gen Xers. I'm probably the oldest of the three of us, Eric, though perhaps Eric, you and I are pretty close in age. Joe, I'm guessing you're younger. That's what I'm guessing.
Yes, you can guess that way. Yes.
Good answer. I like that. It's smart. And then followed in 2010 by a sequel. It was funny. It was called Tron Legacy, which I always find hilarious because it was a legacy sequel. It was a sequel to a film that came out in a wider window than usually you get a sequel in. The new film, directed by Joachim Ronning, and I'm never exactly sure with the O with the slash through it. How do I pronounce it? Anybody want to hazard a guess, or do you know?
I think it's just O.
It's just O? It's just a stylized O? Okie dokie. Okay.
A Nordic or Icelandic O for sure.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So yeah, as I said, original film was a watershed event back in 1982 for us younglings in Gen X. Steven Linsberger was the creator of that, and there were a lot of ups and downs getting this film made, going through the Writers Guide strike and then the SAG-AFTRA strike and so on and so forth. But we finally have it in front of us. New score by awesome industrial rock band Nine Inch Nails, also very big to us in Gen X and generations that followed. And Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, members of the band, served as executive producers on the film. And in a post I saw just a few minutes ago, they had cameos, which I thought was pretty great. So very briefly, I'll run through. I'm not going to read all of this, but the big hits: Jared Leto, actor, love him or hate him, is Ares, our main character. He's a program created by the villains of the film, Julian Dillinger, who is played by Evan Peters, great actor. You've seen in a ton of stuff. Greta Lee, who's on The Morning Show. It's a show that April and I are watching right over on Apple. That's where I knew her from. Is the CEO of NCOM, which is the heritage firm from the first movie. We've also got Jodie Turner-Smith, Hassan Minhaj, who I know from The Daily Show. I've seen him in other stuff. Cameron Monaghan is in this for like 2 seconds, which I felt really bad about because I love him so much. And Jeff Bridges returns. I've got a little bit more to say about that, but his appearance is nothing short of miraculous. And the wonderful Gillian Anderson playing the mother to Evan Peters' character. Opening projection for the weekend was between 40 and 50 million. Looking like that's going to be in the 35 to 37 million range domestic. Unfortunately, lower than the 44 million apparently Tron Legacy pulled. It's not getting great love at the box office, 56% on the tomato meter, but the audiences are like an 86%, and we've got kind of a cross section here. But let's start talking about this. I'm going to go over to Eric. I've done a ton of talking in the last 5 minutes, but Eric, staying non-spoilery for the beginning, talk to me about your feelings about this film. When we exchanged text last night, it indicated you maybe had some strong feelings. So I want to hear all about it.
Well, I'll keep my strong feelings to the spoiler part because I feel like that's where the strong feelings come in. But I would say I think the third act is a mess. I think the best thing in this is Nine Inch Nails. And I think it asks a really interesting question that it decides it is more interested in showing you stuff from 1982. So it ignores the question holistically.
Ooh, fascinating. All right, flip the coin over. Back to Joe.
So I think in modern culture, we have so much content, movies, books, whatever, that paints AI as it's going to destroy the earth. And right in the middle of that film, we ask a question for about 9 seconds about what happens if AI is benevolent. And we're like, cool, we're going to use that as a motivation for a character, but never actually come back and like make AI, beneficial to society. Because for the rest of the movie, it is not.
Oh my goodness. All right, Joe, give us some positivity and light, because I know that you were excited about this. You've done some socials on this already. Yeah, but talk to us about not keeping it non-spoilery. Give me some thoughts.
Okay. First of all, I was actually apprehensive because I'm not a huge fan of Jared Leto. I think he's annoying and very much an egomaniac, and his personal life disturbs me a lot. So I was very like, ooh. So I was actually pleasantly surprised that he wasn't annoying me, and I didn't want to throw my popcorn at the screen. So I do love Grace Lee. She both characters like balance each other out. It wasn't a traditional Tron, and I agree that it kind of left where we should have been going, but the music was great. The visuals were amazing. The nostalgia was great, and I think it kind of did like not a reboot, but a restart. Like, let's go back to the beginning to see like where we're supposed to be, and then like also like explored individuality and like not being like part of like, as Star Trek calls, the collective during the Borg. Like when the Borg assimilates you, like you don't want to be like just a robot. So it explores that. So I actually really like the movie. Now it's not perfect. I have complaints, but I am really excited, and I hope it does well in the box office so we get another one.
Yes, agreed. All right. Well, it's from this podcast that I love called The Weekly Planet. Always does a very black and white. All right, at this point, before we get into spoilers, is this the best movie ever or the worst movie ever? So I get the feeling that Eric might say,
if that is my choice, I don't love that choice because I don't think this is the worst movie ever.
Right.
I just think it let me. Yeah, I've seen way worse movies. But if those are my choices, I guess that's the one I'll have to pick for the sake of fighting with Joe for the next 26 minutes. So
I gotcha. We'll circle back to give it an actual rating at the end. I just think it's kind of funny to paint in broad strokes. I find it satirical. Joe, how about you? Best movie ever, worst movie ever? Uh-oh, did I lose you?
Like, no, from like every movie. So worst movie ever that I've seen?
Sure.
Or worst out of the three?
Oh, we could do that. Rank it. Yeah, rank it.
Yeah, see, that's a better like comparison because there are a lot of really bad movies out there.
That's very true. That does make it very difficult. So where would you put it?
Mm-hmm. I would not make this the best one. I think Tron Legacy topped for me. So.
Okay. Interesting. Very good.
It would be the bottom 30, but not that it's bad. It's just I love the first one because I grew up with that. And then Tron Legacy, like, just pushed it. And so now I'm like, oh, so okay.
Yeah, okay. All right, cool. All right. Let's get into the nitty gritty. I'm going to kick this back to Eric. We're going to go full spoilers. The safeties have been removed. The engines are in full flight. Eric, where did this movie fall apart for you?
So I think there's two big moments that it falls apart for me. One, so Joe, I'm going to be on your side for a second. Like, Evan Peters is awesome in his role. I don't know how he got there. We went from 0 to 100 with really no reason why he wants to end the planet with AI printed robots and an army. And by the way, if he can print an army, how come he only prints 3 of them at a time? I don't
He needs a bigger laser.
Expensive lasers are.
Yeah, he seemed to be really concerned with how expensive things were. So I struggled with that, and I also struggled with not that Jared Leto's character has the arc that he has, but again, there's no reason why he has. I mean, because he read a line out of Frankenstein. Also, that was way too on the nose for me. Like, I get it. It's a Frankenstein story. I got it. I did not need you to bring Frankenstein in to tell me it's a Frankenstein story. So those are the two moments where I'm like, I really think if you had just let us fill in the gaps and you had spent a little bit more time, and honestly, as much as I love Gillian Anderson, taking that story out so we could just get him as an unhinged CEO because remember in the beginning, there's all of the news footage about how these two rival CEOs are going at each other for gaming. Right. And then they both disappeared because they're seemingly going to solve something together. And then we go from that to he wants to murder everybody at any means necessary for the rest of the film. And that kind of leap, I think I needed a couple other things to be like, okay, I get it.
I don't think they were doing it together. It was a more like
No, I know that. I know they weren't, but that's the setup. And then the movie starts, right? Is that both CEOs have disappeared. We assume they're working on something together, and they're not, which is fine. But we went from like the world thinks these CEO benefactors are trying to make the world a better place, and one of them has decided he's Dr. Doom for no reason. Right?
Yeah. No, I think it goes back to like how awful his father or grandfather was.
Right, David Warner from the first film.
Which
they needed to like link that.
Right, I was going to say, if at any point they connected to the Tron universe at all in this film, I would believe you. But
Right. Yeah, and it's done very sparingly because there's a mid-credits or a post-credits that does exactly that, in the end.
Correct.
Yes. In the end, in order to escape the police after his mother is murdered by the
Athena.
The right-hand woman, Athena, the other computer program, and Gillian Anderson dies, and she goes, I love her dying words are like, this is your fault, asshole. I mean, she was very mommy dearest. She
was already like apprehensive, and she's like, this isn't going to end well. And like at that point, just I also don't like that actor. I think he's really annoying. He plays the same basic villain every single time he's a villain in a movie, I think. So just like...
Which you talk about? Which actor are you talking about?
The son. I don't know his.
Evan Peters.
Yeah, Evan Peters. Yeah.
Yeah.
He just annoys me. He was a very annoying villain as well. Like he was like a whiny punk kid who, but also like at the same time wanted to make buku money. So was he supposed to be like an Elon Light? Like I don't understand. Like that's the part I didn't like about the movie. Like they didn't develop him as being a true villain. He was just like a whiny kid that was like, I'm gonna control the world with like these robots. And then he had like this like head that would appear to the programs like, why?
Right.
You're never gonna say
when someone in the writer room is like, you know what's really hot right now? Wizard of Oz. So let's get the Wizard of Oz in this movie somehow.
You're right. It sounds like it's kind of the dartboard in the writers' room. We'll see what was a big hit last year. Wicked. Okay.
What do you think about getting the Wizard of Oz, Pinocchio, and Frankenstein in a Tron film? What if we did that?
That is it. It's a three-way of let's see here. What do they call common domain? Well, Frankenstein is. What's the expression I'm thinking of? Something where it's public domain. You don't have to pay much for it. Yeah, there you go. And Gillian Anderson, again, I feel is very wasted. We don't see her in a lot of things. We don't see her in a lot of big budget motion pictures because she's a little bit more into prestige format streamers, things you see on Netflix. And so in this, she was just like, everybody's nightmarish parent, who could say, well, she didn't hug him enough when he was a kid, and that's why he's a bad guy, So yeah, that was a little too on the nose. So I'm gonna go, on a limb and saying I also didn't hate Jared Leto in this movie, and I kind of hate him in everything. I mean, the way he just tore through the Joker when he played that role. Was that in just the one film, or it was in two films? I can't remember for the Snyderverse, wasn't it? Yeah. It was absolutely dreadful.
Yes. Yeah.
But, he's playing a program, so his kind of lack of general humanity in real life kind of works out, that he just seems kind of a bot. One of my, favorite parts, something I can say I really loved, is when Athena is trying to navigate that recognizer. First of all, this thing is as slow as hell.
Yes!
Because she builds it, and then, our characters are trying to repair the laser device that'll bring Ares back after they stuck him in the little pocket universe by putting him on the file drive where the old Tron, we got to fix the laser. And they're like, look, the recognizer is coming. And it's 5 miles out over the ocean. They're like, oh, kind of reminds you in Austin Powers, the guy who's going to get run over by the Zamboni. He's like, stop. And then it's miles away, and he's standing there screaming, and then it gets crunched. But I did actually love this, because that recognizer, in the video game, it's and it puts the little legs together and it can stomp on things. This thing is super slow, super cumbersome. She's trying to chase Greta Lee down the street, and Greta just turns a corner and it just flies on by. It's not like she can turn. It's like trying to drive a battleship with a steering wheel. So I thought that was really cool, because you take something in a video game. We've all played video games where you can do nonsensical, weird things because it's not real. But if you, took Mario Kart into the real world, what would it be like trying to drive around in the streets of Chicago, or something like that? So
I also felt like they couldn't decide what the equipment they were using could do.
Right.
Because sometimes, what was it? It wasn't like a bulldozer, but it had a shield in the front.
Yes.
So it was like the Tron disc. Either it could cut you or not cut you, or
right,
push a car or slice a police car in half.
Right.
Decide.
Yes, the rules of this universe were really, really weird.
Wide.
Because even in that scene, Joe, when we spend 2 hours, we tease the tank at the very beginning, and then we have to wait 2 hours to see the tank show up, and then it's destroyed by a Frisbee in 45 seconds.
Yes. I was like, so it's just pushing cars out of the way. But then she also couldn't get out of the loop thing, but then a disc will go through anything. And I was like, this is I know I don't know.
You're dialing yourself backwards from liking it so much.
No, I do like it. The visuals were great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as nonsense as the universe is, the motorcycles are undeniable. They are the coolest thing in that whole film. I mean, they make zero sense, and they have their own rules, but they're the coolest thing in the film.
I did have a problem with the disc. I didn't like the triangle disc. There's a reason
because it's not a disc, it's a triangle. The disc is supposed to be round. Disc. I loved it. So going back to the first film, it was super heavily implied that the setting, at least based on where it was filmed, was either LA or it was Silicon Valley in San Francisco, right? This and the previous film were filmed in Vancouver. It's Vancouver when they're flying over it. It's Vancouver in every long shot. But I absolutely love how it's referred to the city in any one of these news reports, and all the police cars just say police. So everything.
I totally missed that.
Yeah, it's kind of fitting, because that everything kind of feels so fake and removed from reality, because all of this has to do with computer programming and virtual world. So it just doesn't feel like they're taking the fact that this is not based in reality and giving us a setting that doesn't feel real at all, So I did appreciate that. I love the kind of subtle sneaks, how they at the end, after Ares has fled and he's down in Mexico or whatever, and he's writing a postcard to Greta Lee's character, and he's looking around, and you get a real the game is afoot moment where he's looking at setting up a sequel, where he's looking at a postcard and it's got a picture of the dude from last movie and Olivia Wilde, and he's like, I gotta find them in this picture, which you don't know why he has it, but he sees somebody in the distant, like a fruit vendor, giving somebody an orange. And don't forget, in the first movie, the orange was how they sent they did the transporter in the first place. I thought that was pretty sweet. And
in this movie, they broke the 29 or 28 minute with the orange tree.
Right. Yeah, that's right. I didn't even make that connection. You're absolutely right.
You haven't finished with a character named Eve. So again, way on the nose. Way on the nose.
Too much on the nose. I was curious about Jeff Bridges because he was, the first film was 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. He looks pretty much the way he did, when he was in Iron Man in 2008, because it was just a couple years later. Now, I thought he looked significantly more aged. It was kind of more painful. And so anytime I'm driving home, April and I are driving home, and I said, well, Jeff Bridges, he just really didn't look like he was doing good. So she's looking it up on her phone. She says he's in recovery from after effects from COVID and after effects from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Yeah.
So he was really very ill. And the fact that he was in this film at all, I think, is nothing short of miraculous.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And it was good to see him.
He was exhausted or in pain or both, but the fact that he was in it and wanted to do it is great.
And that was mostly because of Jared Leto. And, then he also had to deal with whatever he was dealing with, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
As I mentioned before, I was super bummed out that Cameron Monaghan, who I adore from Star Wars and from Shameless, was in this for 12 seconds before he got killed off. And then he got to be a protracted subject of discussion as Master Control saying, well, when we have a program and it's not working anymore, we just delete it and whatever. It's like, oh, okay. So I don't know. The old guy from the first film, Walter, in the game grid, in that he was he was the old guy in that called Dumont, and there was a Dumont. There was some references to that as well, but that was also and Eric helped me out because you work in the business. That was the one of the first really failed radio television networks, wasn't it? Dumont, wasn't that TV?
Yeah. Yes. Yep. Yeah,
back in the 40s or something. So that kind of gave me a chuckle. So. And then one last note. Okay, I know I've been babbling for a bit, but I did read that this month that we're recording this in October, there are a host of variant covers for Marvel Comics, of which I'm an avid comic reader, and I think Eric, you're a comic reader as well, probably you too, Joe. That are all Tron themed. So I'm probably I was in my shop today because they were having a sale, and I forgot to look. So I'm gonna have to sneak back and find it. I miss these because I largely read digitally, but I like to get covers I like and frame them, as you can see around here. So. All right, well, let's circle back. I'm going to kick it over to Eric. Other missed opportunities, anything that really comes to mind?
I genuinely just wanted them to just dig a tiny bit. I'm okay if, I don't remember which reviewer called it this, but I think this is exactly how you explain it. I'm okay if this is a roller coaster. We're on it for 3 minutes. It's not supposed to be a big deal. And then we get off, we eat some popcorn, have a good time. Totally fine. But I think they asked some really interesting questions. My struggle is I genuinely like most of the people that are in this film and just felt like they didn't really have much to do. And by the time we get to the end of the film, it's just time for what I call in the Marvel world, the big dumb fight. We have all of our CGI budget, time for a big dumb fight. And we have a big
blue sky hole,
big dumb fight. And then they do the biggest missed opportunity is that those last two credit scenes, I don't know if we're going to count the Jared Leto scene as a, mid credit scene, but from that scene,
the second one,
from that scene to the end scene where Evan Peters' character is now in the grid is these empty promises that you just wish they had started 2 hours earlier. If we were going to do all this stuff, let's just do this in the beginning, because there, Joe, you were pointing out, there's really not a lot of connective tissue. They don't mention the word Tron the entire film, right? We could have just done any of that stuff in the post credit at the beginning and made maybe a more interesting film.
Yeah, that was a note I made as well. So the film was called Tron. Tron was, of course, Bruce Boxleitner's program in the first film. It was a security program. In the second film, he's supposedly killed off, though it kind of happens off screen. And then, it doesn't get mentioned in this, and Bruce Boxleitner does not return as Alan, who is the other main character. But I'm like, it's branding, because if they just called it Ares, it would give you no indication. There's no snap to it. It's not going to really, kind of quantify as a sequel. So yeah, I guess I get that too. So,
but honestly, I don't know how you feel. Honestly, if they removed Tron and they called it anything else, 9 Inch Nails Ares, I probably would have liked it more, right? I probably would have been like, this is amazing. It's just 9 Inch Nails and motorcycles. And I love everything about this.
Yeah, right. Give Trent Reznor one of those laser bikes and shoot hold, and then make him drive the recognizer, very slowly flying over what is totally LA, the city. Right, exactly. Joe, what about you? Anything that you really didn't see that you're like, man, why didn't they go there?
So I found it interesting with was it Turner Smith, the Athena's character?
Yes.
Her being so, like, them being equal, her and Jared Leto's character, Ares, being equal, and then all of a sudden she sees him as a weakness because he has found humanity. And she is like driven and menacing, and then wants to like take over and destroy that program so then she can fulfill whatever this teen angsty kid menace is wanting to destroy the world. So I found that very interesting. I wish they had extended or expanded upon why and how she became, because it's almost like she also evolved with her individuality, not just being a program being told what to do, because she then takes her mission and becomes an individual and starts taking decisions on her own. She kills the mom, she threatens her creator, and then she goes off and is like, I'm going to kill everybody. So
yeah, why? Well, yeah, she was taken after her creator because he turns into a supervillain. Did you find it kind of like, why did they have to go there at the end when she's dying? And of course, she has one of these like long William Shatner-esque kind of deaths where she could just as well suck her feet in the air, and Jared Leto lays down. He's like, oh, it's okay. Like he's having this like she's like, did I do good, boss? Did I, it was like like in the war picture where the guy like has his legs blown off and he's like, yeah, we're going to go home and we're going to get that car we dreamed about and we're going to drive it till the wheels fall off. It was like, they had this like very like, they're computer programs. Why are they being so, having this very emotional response? So it was just, that was very like.
I think it was more of like, it comes back to like, she didn't understand how he went one way and is surviving, and she did everything right. Like, how Data is like, you could do everything right and still lose. Well, she did everything right and lost because she's now dying.
Yeah, right. She's dissolving anyway. So, Eric, you look like you got something. No,
I was just going to say, like, one of the things, Joe, that I again, with if we're going to do everything on the nose, because this is a great point that you're bringing up. If you're going to have an Ares and an Athena, if we're all going to make fun of Taylor Swift for not reading Shakespeare and writing songs about Shakespeare, this is the same thing. These two characters should be adversarial from the jump off, and then all of it kind of fixes itself, because you're right on the money. This idea that I did everything right and it still got it wrong is a great lesson that's lost in the ridiculousness of the Shatner death and the fact that there's really, again, no reason why she starts on this journey to begin with.
Her anger journey or her journey with Ares?
Like her anger journey, right? Like you said, it's just like all of a sudden they're like this the whole time, and then all of a sudden she's like has a twitch and is like, I'm out to destroy you and you and you.
She doesn't approve of him becoming an individual and having humanity, right? So,
isn't it the thing that I thought was interesting about that is they clearly have computer rapport, and she doesn't really question him. She goes right to God.
Yeah. Right? God, yes.
Right, she doesn't actually go, hey man, I think you're going to get fired for being a human or whatever. She's like, forget it. I'm going straight to God, and God is going to take care of this for us.
Oh my gosh. All right, so, as I said, box office wise, they had a prediction. This is falling below it. And then there are other mitigating factors like, will this be really strong on video on demand, or will the streaming numbers be so enormous that they consider it a success? So, assuming that this is going to move forward into another film, they're going to start another trilogy or just have a sequel, whatever it is. What would you guys like to see? Eric, what would be your prime sequel to this film? What would you love to see?
I would love for it all to do one of two things. I know this is like a half answer, but like pick a lane. Either the grid is all on Earth and it's a disaster for everybody involved, or we're back in the grid doing Tron stuff for a film.
Right.
Pick it, because this like jumping back and forth, I thought kind of sucked all the wind out of the stakes. Because if you thought about right now, if Chat GPT or Perplexity shows up in real life and just starts wreaking havoc on the planet itself, that would be an absolute nightmare. But if you could, if while they're here, you could go there, it kind of takes a little bit of the wind out of your sails of the,
Right. Yeah.
The Tron Legacy, right? Like, they brought Olivia Wilde's character because she was a
program. Yeah.
She was a program, but she also had bio in it, right? Like biomass. So she was allowed to like come out, but she became part of the real world,
right?
Even though she was in Tron. So I think they just didn't do the connection as well as they should. If they took out Dillinger altogether and just worked with Tron and Grace Lee, that I think would have been better. Because if you remove the angsty teenage villain and you just had Athena as the villain, it would have been fine.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because she had
maybe that's what I want, Joe, is I want a cleaner plot line. Just a through just
there
one.
was too many villains, I think.
Yes.
Because,
way too many.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man 3.
The mom's
yeah, exactly.
The villain, because she is the
she didn't hug him enough.
Right. Inherited the company and did so much and got like 15 points on the stock market or whatever, and then he's the villain, and then his creation becomes the villain, and then like the competitive creation becomes the villain. Like we've just
at some point, Gillian Anderson also knocked off her brother, which was in the last movie, was Cillian Murphy. Yeah. So what happened to him? He had an accident. He's in the grid. They stuck his ass in the grid. Yeah. So it probably gamed him down. They troned him. So, all right.
I would like to see them go back in, but I want them to start outside and having to go in and having to get the Tron Legacy main protagonists to help them figure out
the son of Flynn, Sam.
Yeah, Sam and Cora to come in, and I feel like what they'll do is they're gonna make Dillinger a corrupt program or a corrupt user, and he Flynn Sr. Kevin Flynn cannot get rid of him because now he's not made in the grid, so they have to bring those characters back.
Not made in the USA.
Not made in the USA.
All right, so if we bring it back around, I know I kind of threw you a loop with best movie ever, worst movie ever, but score 1 to 10. Eric, what do you think?
6.
The score is a 6 for you.
Well, so because I have a rule. So sorry, I have a rule in my life. If it's out of 10, I can't pick 7 because it's not a pick. Because a 7 is just too easy. So at 80, an 8 is an 80, and a 6 is a D. And I don't think it's an 80, so I'm going to give it a 6.
It's a D. All right. How about you, Joe?
I was going to give it an 8.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
That's
that's
what we've been doing.
It's a B.
For 30 minutes.
B minus. There you go. I'll go with. I did enjoy it as well. I'm going to break Eric's rule. Broken. I'll go with a 7.5. I always like fractions.
He sort of broke your rule.
Yes,
I sort of.
2 rules because he didn't tell us we could do points. Like
I know.
No decimal points.
You see, I told you this is a new show. We're just
175.
Yes, right, like it's an Olympic sport now. How we're grading movies.
Yeah, right. Signs. We'll get better the next time, and when I have you guys back for whatever the next movie is, we'll talk about.
If you have me back, I will have a sign that I will hold up.
Yes, right. Yeah, you won't even say it either. And we're audio only, so if you hold it up, I'll have to read it to the people. Okay, so yeah, I will say to people, please go see this movie. Decide for yourself. Obviously, we spoiled a lot through, but again, we're just 3 people giving opinions. It has to be successful. The studios care about what the wallets have to say. So hopefully, let's find a way to get it to make its money back. Because I would like to see them come back and have a satisfying, picking a lane storyline. I'm definitely with Eric. Joe, you're doing this. What's up?
I'm doing this. So can we just talk about the fashion and the costuming?
Oh, absolutely.
On Tron. So Tron Legacy was very clean, very neat, very almost sophisticated, but with an edge. I felt that Jared Leto's costume was very bulky and unflattering. Like it wasn't as sleek and perfected. It was almost like a 5-year-old kind of cobbled his blocks together and was like, "This is he was
Blocko."
It's so funny you said that, because I was explaining to a friend today that this movie reminded me of what would happen if you gave a kid who knew nothing about Tron figures to make a 2-hour film. Like, this is what they would.
It's not that bad.
Well, but and let me just say this: if you don't know any, like, let me back this up, because I also know how hard it is to get something like this to the finish line. Right? It's really hard to get a movie to the finish line. If you know nothing about Tron, you will really think this is fun and cool. Like, if you don't care about the Tron legacy or the original film, the motorcycles and the music and the stylized vision, you'll really, really dig. So let me just say that, like, I would have a much different score if I didn't know Tron existed. That's right. If it was Nine Inch Nails Aries, we'd be having a different discussion.
Absolutely. All right. Well, cool. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up. Obviously, Tron Ares is in theaters now. You guys, thank you for being here. Eric, where do people find you out there on the interwebs?
You can just find me everywhere as Eric, Eric Hultgren, Hultgren.
Complicated. My goodness. Joe, what about you?
You can find me basically all social media platforms as Joe Colton Cosplay.
Awesome. Very good. And I am, of course, on, my big three, the Instagram, the Threads, and the Blue Sky. I am at the C3, THECEE, I've also been active on our Secret Friends Unite on all those same handles. And on TikTok, I've been trying to do little videos, tell you about things that I'm enjoying. Would love to have you tune in. So find us at Secret Friends Unite there. So friends, as always, thank you for joining us. It was great to have both of you here. I'm going to tell you, as always, that sharing is caring, and to keep on trucking.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and podcast services around the galaxy, as well as video on our YouTube channel. You can support Secret Friends Unite by becoming a Patreon member, get bonus programs and more over at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite. Join our Discord community for even more discussions on all things geek. For all the latest updates on Secret Friends Unite, make sure to follow us on Threads at secret.friends.unite and visit secretfriendsunite.com. Find our merchandise at TeePublic and Redbubble. Thanks for listening, and may the Force live long and prosper.